Right, welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. This was bound to happen. This is an update on He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. I mean, we can see it here, look. We've got Masters of the Universe will release on Netflix, an exclusive to discussingfilm.net. Now, their track record for breaking news and exclusives is fine. So, kind of take this with a pinch of salt if you like. I mean, it's not been confirmed by anyone else as yet. This is their exclusive, but it's something which I think everyone could see coming a mile off. I mean, I've done so many videos now talking about He-Man, and the latest one, prior to a podcast I did with Andre from Midnight's Edge, was basically saying, yeah, it's been removed from the slate, because that was the latest we had heard officially, is that Sony had actually just removed He-Man from their release schedule, which always means a few things. Now, if there was no official word and all we had was basically, yeah, it's just been removed, that's when you start to consider other options. That's when you go, right, okay, are there problems with production? Is there, studio interference? Are there infighting? Are there rewrites? So many things. And at that point in time, there was a lot of movement with Mattel pairing up with Netflix, and Netflix really pushing the He-Man narrative. I mean, like a lot, hugely in fact. There's 2 He-Man series in the works at Netflix. There's one by Kevin Smith, which is going to be a sequel / pseudo reboot, I guess, or reimagining, whatever you want to call it, of the original. And then you had a brand new kind of 3D animated one aimed at kids, which was going to be basically like a fresh take. Now, the fact that they were building two series with Mattel, and then we heard rumours that Netflix were looking to get the movie off of Sony. Yeah, I mean, it all makes sense, doesn't it? Now, this is the news as per Discussing Film. It's not too in-depth, okay? So a lot of this will just be me filling in the blanks as well. But their exclusive is, we've learned that formally Sony's Master of the Universe film will now be developed and distributed by Netflix. Now, there's some few key factors here, okay, which we'll go into in a second, because it says the film is currently projected for a late 2021, early 2022 release. So it's been pushed back, right? It's been pushed back quite, a fair amount. Now, the other interesting things that they go on to posit, when we'll get into my thoughts here and what this tells us anyway, is that as of now, it is currently unknown what involvement Sony has with this project now, but it is likely that we will discover in the coming months whether Sony has officially backed out of the project entirely, or if they are still involved in some capacity. Now, what does this tell us? Well, good God, right. If Discussing Film are right, okay, and this is all on the proviso, what I'm about to say, okay, if the film will now be developed and distributed by Netflix, sounds like it's going back to the drawing board in some shape or another. Netflix don't really have any more development to do if Sony were selling them a project, right? If they had just sold them the film as is, there's no development that Netflix needs to do, because Sony would have done all of that legwork for them. Now, this could be great. This could be really, really good. And I will say this, I firmly believe that Netflix will be, if this is true, okay, remember, this is all on the proviso of if this is true, I think that Netflix will go back to the drawing board on this. And I think that's a good thing, and let me explain why. Okay, they'll go back to the drawing board on this, because this will now then be their property. Okay, they're working alongside Mattel. They've got 2 series. They're going to want to get this film in line with one of those series. Okay, and as it stands, it's probably not in line with them, because Sony developed it separate to anything that Netflix was doing, right? So if this comes together, how I think it's going to come together, Netflix have got this. They've got the rights for development and distribution, so it's their property now. Basically, this is a partnership between Netflix and Mattel. It's also a way for Mattel to get the property back off of Sony, because Sony's doing nothing with it. And if this is a rights and a licensing deal, which that's what Sony had from Mattel, this sounds like it's going back to Netflix. And Netflix have a very good relationship working with Mattel. Therefore, Mattel will sort of, I guess, by proxy, have the rights back to their property, which is fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. I'm very surprised that Discussing Film didn't delve into this, because this is all just base information right here. Oh, it's been developed and distributed by Netflix. That's fine. But this also signifies the rights for this, tea-shaded man here going back to Netflix, right? Going back to Mattel. And that's huge. That's a huge thing. Because Sony have held on to the rights for this property for a very long time. Like a really long time. They've done nothing with it. It's languished in development hell for God knows how long. And hopefully, this is the sign of things to come. You know, that Mattel are getting their properties back, whatever they may be that you like or dislike. And maybe we're going to see a powerhouse with Mattel and Netflix working alongside one another. That's what it says to me anyway. Now, let's delve right into the other bits and pieces that they were going on about in this article. I mean, they say, as of now, it's currently unknown what involvement Sony would have. Again, if it's being developed and distributed by Netflix, it sounds like it's firmly in their court now. They'll go back to the drawing board on this, especially with these release dates being pushed back. Netflix, this sounds like they've basically sold the rights to Netflix. It doesn't sound like they've sold a complete movie, does it? They've not been shooting. So Netflix for now have absolutely the capacity to just go, yeah, nah, sod all of this. We're going back to to the drawing board on this. Now, as of it says Mattel Films will be working alongside David Goya's Phantom 4 Films as two of the production companies behind the film. This isn't officially confirmed as yet. This is officially confirmed as of now, or as of prior to this news. So again, it looks like Netflix will come on board and probably wipe the slate clean with some of these people. Like David Goya had written it. So if they're going to go back to the drawing board, they may even send Goya on his way. You never know. Netflix has the money, so they can tell production companies to go away if they don't want their money. Now, Phantom 4 Films is still an up-and-coming production company that has recently produced sci-fi's Krypton, The Night House, as well as Chris McKay's upcoming sci-fi war epic, The Tomorrow War. Now, look, this is not a good resume, and Goya himself is fine. He's what I like to call the Hollywood pen prostitute. He's hired left, right, and centre. He has more work going on, hence a dilution of quality in his script work. Now, he owns this production company, has been involved in the film for a really long time, but that's not a good sign, because it has languished in development hell. He wrote the first draft of the screenplay for Master of the Universe for Sony, and was in talks to direct the film, but then he dropped out of the film and became executive producer on the project, which is kind of industry talk for they didn't really want him to direct, and they still wanted to use his script in some ways, so then they took him on board as a producer instead. So you got to read between the lines on these things. And then he's retained that title throughout the many rewrites, which is again all to do with the script work. They're using the basis of his script. Goya will produce the film alongside Jason Blumenthal, Todd Black, Julie Pistor, Devon Franklin and Kevin Turan. Mattel Films is still involved with the project as they still work to get films developed on their many IPs, including the highly anticipated Barbie film from Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie. Well, that will just be fantastic, won't it? Yes. Fucking can't wait for that. Now, the Nee brothers are still attached to write and direct. Now, again, this is important to note here. This is not new information. This is not information that they have now learned. This is just them going, well, we haven't heard otherwise. Okay, now if they are going back and redeveloping the whole bloody thing, these guys might be out. As might be Noah Centineo, and hopefully he is. He's still attached in the lead role. I would imagine. I hope he goes, because he's not got the build for it. He's a Disney boy, good for playing Prince Adam, not for playing the He-Man role. Now, look, I mean, that's it really. You know, Sony was previously eyeing to release the film theatrically in March 2021. Now, again, remember, this says for late 2021 and 2022 release. If they're going back to the drawing board, it'll be 2022 release on this. So, I don't know. I mean, this is interesting. It's not news though, is it? We thought this was going to happen. We knew this was going to happen. I'm looking forward to this. I'm a big fan of He-Man. I love the property. I'm all about this, sword and sorcery products. Slan, 2000 AD, and Conan. I'm all about this stuff. Huge Lord of the Rings fan. This is my jam here. So it going to Netflix, I think, is positive and negative. I'm really dismayed by the fact that other studios on a wide release won't pick up on this, and we'll get a resurgence of sword and sorcery stuff. But that being said, I'm still interested in how this is going to come together. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please do let me know down below in the comment section. If you were around on, basically me and Andre from Midnight's Edge did a podcast called The Toxic Masculinity of He-Man. That was a joke. So we're probably going to do another one, I believe, to discuss all of this and just our thoughts and things like that as well. So if you want to stay tuned for that, please do hit subscribe. And if you want to stay tuned to the world of pop culture and movie news, please do hit subscribe. Returning subscribers, make sure you are subscribed. I'm saying subscribe a lot, but it's the truth. Please do. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, give it a like and a share. And also, consider supporting the channel further. Consider supporting your favorite content creator, me, by checking out my Patreon, which is linked down below in the description box. I'm playing The Evil Within, and we do, basically Skype roundtables and hangouts and things like that as well. So check it out. You might enjoy it, and it really helps me out during this dog shit time on YouTube. Thank you so much. I've been Mr. H. Take care.